Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from Greedy Tech, and in this video I'll be doing the unboxing of the Oppo A5 2020 and giving you a quick hands-on review. So guys, here's the box and here's the availability information. This phone is available both online and offline. It's available in two variants. Base variant is priced at 12,000 rupees for 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage, and the next variant is priced at 14,000 rupees for 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. It's available in two colors, mirror black and dazzling white, and we have the mirror black color with us. Now the main highlights for this phone would be that quad camera setup, most importantly a 5000 mAh battery which also supports reverse charging, it has Dolby Atmos support, and most importantly dual stereo speakers. It also has a massive 6.5-inch display and something new called nano water drop notch, which is supposed to be a pretty small notch. So guys, without any further delays, let's just get on with the unboxing. So on the front of the box we have a quick information of the storage information on the top left corner. This, by the way, is the second variant with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. Next we have a quick preview of how the phone looks on the front. Usually these images are really exaggerated, so we have to see if the notch is really small or if the bezels are tiny as shown in the preview. Anyway, at the bottom it says Oppo A5 2020. Now on the left side and on the right side we have just the Oppo branding. On the back side we have some of the highlighting features followed by some specifications and IMEI numbers. And that's it. So let me just open it up. Now once we open the box we have a cardboard box at the front which has SIM card ejector and a soft silicone pouch along with some documentation. Let me just put everything aside. Now this is a soft silicone case that we get inside the box. I'll come back to it in a second. Next we have the phone itself in a plastic wrapping. Let me just put that aside for now. Next we have a 10 watts power adapter and a USB Type-C charging cable. So I'll just leave it there. So guys, these are all the contents of the box. Now let me just throw everything aside and come back to the phone. So once again on the front we have some of the highlighting features, which are mainly that ultra wide angle quad camera setup, 5000 mAh battery, dual speakers and a Snapdragon 665 processor. Snapdragon 665 isn't all that powerful, but for a retail phone that's still pretty good. Anyway, this is how the phone looks on the front. It comes the free screen guard pre-applied, once again appreciated. And this is how the phone looks on the back. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back this phone has a 3D curved plastic panel with a nice smooth and mirror finish to it. This is the black color and it looks pretty similar to a mirror. At the center we have the triple camera setup, beside that we have the single LED flash followed by another camera. Below the camera setup we have the fingerprint scanner and an engraving that says Oppo designed for A series. On the front it has a massive display protected by 2.5D curved glass and a free screen guard. At the top it has a nano water drop notch which looks pretty small by the way. Now inside the notch we have the front facing camera and above the notch we have the earpiece. Finally at the bottom it is completely plain and the bottom bezel is pretty big. Now for the sides, on the right side it has just the power button with a green accent color. On the left side it has a SIM card tray housing two nano SIM slots along with a dedicated SD card slot, followed by the volume buttons. All the buttons are made of metal, they have a nice clicky feel to them and they are sufficiently elevated. At the top it is completely plain, and finally at the bottom we have the 3.5mm audio jack followed by the primary microphone, USB Type-C charging port and the speaker grill. This phone has a thickness of 9.1mm and weighs 195 grams. In hand it doesn't feel all that thick but has a bit of weight to it, and that's given considering it has a massive 5000 mAh battery. Now let me just try out this case. By the way, it also has a flap for the charging port. Now this is how the phone looks with the case on. It is a pretty big raised lip for the camera module and even for the display, so even when you place your phone directly on its back or directly on its face, display and cameras are still very well protected. With that said, at most this case can give you some extra grip and some extra protection, that's all. At the end of the day, if you want some extra drop protection, get a better case. And as you could see, after some usage, case does turn yellowish and it does look pretty ugly. So definitely get a better case for this phone. By the way, even with this case on, now these are the complete specifications of this phone. On the rear, it has a quad camera setup with a 12MP primary camera followed by an 8MP ultra wide angle camera with 109° field of view, followed by a 2MP camera with f2.4 aperture, and on the right side we have another 2MP camera with f2.4 aperture. These two 2MP cameras are used for taking portrait shots. For selfies, it has a 8MP camera with f2.0 aperture. On the front, it has a massive 6.5-inch IPS display with HD plus resolution, a nano water drop notch with 20:9 aspect ratio and 480 nits of brightness. When it comes to performance, it sports a Snapdragon 665 processor with Adreno 610 GPU with 4GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 64GB of internal storage. Right out of the box, it will be running ColorOS 6.0.1 based on Android 9.2. Finally, it has a massive 5000 mAh battery that also supports reverse charging with an OTG cable. By the way, there is no fast charging support, and inside the box, it has just a 10 watts power adapter. So guys, those were the complete specifications. Now let me turn on the phone and set it up and come back to you in a second. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we turn it on and set it up. This is the default launcher, and this time it does come with a proper launcher. You have an app drawer. You can do a swipe up gesture to open the app drawer, and these are all the applications that come pre-installed. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of bloatware, so if there is any application that you don't use, uninstall it as soon as possible. Now let's go to storage information. This is the storage information. Out of that 64GB of space, we get about 44.9, almost 45GB of space for our user apps and user data. And now this is the recent apps page. Out of that 4GB of RAM, we get about 1.64GB of RAM free right out of the box. So that's pretty good. Now let's check out the about page. Now this is the about page, and this phone is still running ColorOS version 6 based on Android 9, that's Android Pie, with the latest November security patch. This is after the latest update. Now let's check the camera interface. So this is the camera interface for the rear camera, and it looks pretty similar to all other Oppo and Realme phones. So at the bottom we have all the different modes, and you can swipe left or right to change between different modes. You can click this button to do a quick digital zoom. This phone doesn't have a telephoto lens, so whenever you do a zoom, it's digital zoom. It's just like cropping in, like taking a picture and zooming in, that's it. So I recommend you to take pictures in 1x zoom all the time. Next we have a toggle over here to switch between the primary camera and the wide angle camera. So this is the primary camera, and now this is a wide angle camera. I'll show you sample shots later. Next we have chroma mode. So here's the toggle for that. It just makes the colors look a bit more saturated, and colors really pop out a lot. Now that's the two important things at the top. On the right side we have the portrait mode. That's it, it's the regular portrait mode. You don't have any extra effects. On the left side we have video recording. Now in video recording we can change the resolution from settings, and this phone does support 4K recording, so that's pretty cool as well. Besides these three modes, we also have extra options over here. First we have night mode, which is a dedicated mode to take better pictures in low lighting conditions. Next we have panorama, expert mode, that's manual mode. Next we have time-lapse, slow motion video recording, stickers and Google Lens as well. Now this is the interface for the front camera, and by default beauty mode is enabled, so let me just disable that. So here it is. On the right side we have the regular portrait mode, that's portrait selfies. On the left side we have video recording, and once again we can record video at a maximum of 1080p resolution. Once again, if you click this button over here, we get some extra options like panorama, time-lapse and stickers. Now here's a quick preview of stickers. So you can add funny stuff like these to your face and take some pictures. So guys, that's the camera interface. Now these are some sample shots. Now let's check the speaker loudness. By the way guys, this phone has a stereo speakers, one over here and one near the earpiece, and they are really stereo speakers. So let's give it a try. So guys, that's the speaker loudness, and I must say stereo speakers on this phone are really great. Like, you will get the best audio experience over speakers in this price segment with this phone, so no doubts about that. Now if you have noticed, while watching videos in the landscape mode, you can swipe on the left side near the notch for the smart bar. Now this is a pretty unique feature that's available on Oppo and Realme phones or ColorOS itself, which gives you extra options over here. Now these are your quick applications. You can just click on them or touch them to open that application in a floating window, especially apps like SMS and maybe WhatsApp. Rest of the applications open up as full screen applications like that. Besides that, we can also take a screenshot, record the screen and block banner notifications. And you can also access the smart bar even when you're using your phone in portrait orientation by swiping over this bar over here. And if you don't like it, you can also disable it. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up, so here we go. Once again, just like all other Oppo phones, fingerprint scanner is super fast. It's almost instantaneous. But the fingerprint scanner itself is pretty much flush to the back, so without a case, it's kinda hard to trace where the fingerprint scanner is. So that's why there is a tiny bit of delay, especially while I'm using this phone right now. With that said, fingerprint scanner itself is super fast. Now let's test face unlock feature. Once again, I've already set it up. And as you can see, it is super fast, just like all of the Oppo phones. It's almost instantaneous and as fast as a fingerprint scanner. In fact, it's faster than the fingerprint scanner if you consider that you don't have to use the fingerprint itself. So it is super fast in good lighting conditions. Now let's test it in low lighting conditions. Even in low lighting conditions, it is super fast, and it's using that screen brightness technique to compensate for low lighting conditions. So guys, in good lighting conditions and even in low lighting conditions, face unlock is working pretty well and it is pretty fast and definitely usable. Now if you have purchased this phone or if you are using any latest Oppo phone, I would definitely recommend you to try out the new navigation gestures. For that, go to settings, then select convenience aid, then select navigation keys. Now select swipe gesture from both sides. Now once you do that, you can use the swipe gestures to navigate throughout your phone. You can swipe from the bottom to go home, you can swipe and hold for recent taps, and you can swipe from the left side or right side to go back a step. So this is just like the Android 10 gestures and it works really well. Now before I conclude, these are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. So guys, this is the new Oppo A5 2020. Now this is the latest phone from Oppo under 15,000 rupees price segment, and honestly it isn't much different from the Oppo A5 itself. With that said, it is still a pretty good phone and offers you some pretty unique stuff. You are getting pretty good cameras, massive battery, massive display, and most importantly stereo speakers. If you're someone who watches a lot of videos on your phone and you want better battery life and the best audio experience over speakers, then you can definitely consider this phone. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from Greedy Tech signing off. Have a nice day.